Well, guys, thank you so much for turning to this video. Stephen Miller, he is screaming at everyone. And the top administration people, they are getting hospitalized. What's going on with Trump administration? First of all, take a look at this clip, guys. It's very important. And nowadays, US politics have become very interesting. First of all, take a look at this clip, guys. Start.
Things are going so poorly in the worst part of Donald Trump's administration that top-level officials are being hospitalized. Stephen Miller is screaming at everyone. He's worried about going to prison now, which actually we'll get into later in this video and definitely in a later video. But it's ICE. I am talking about the Department of Homeland Security, but specifically ICE, where the director just resigned as a new hospitalization scandal is coming out. Stephen Miller is losing his mind, and Donald Trump is stunned because he didn't even think it would all fall apart this badly. We are going to get into that resignation. What comes next? Stephen Miller worried about going to prison. Joe Rogan and Ro Khanna on Chuck Schumer. We got a lot to pack into this video, so do stick around through all of it. But where we have to start is...
Wait for a second. Joe Rogan, he talked about Joe Rogan. Nobody is endorsing Trump in this war. All these people, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Pam Bondi, these are the people who are turning against Trump nowadays. And these people just endorsed Trump during election campaign, during election. That's why Trump became a president of USA. Now everybody is stepping far away from Trump.
It's the starting point for everything breaking down in the Trump administration and people turning against each other, which is how unpopular Donald Trump is.
Yeah, this is the thing I just want to say to you. Trump is becoming unpopular day by day.
Jessica Tarlov was able to break through on the 5, even though her MAGA co-host didn't want to hear it, but it's just the truth.
We just say the same thing every day on that. Kellyanne brings up this tax refund. The $375 on average that you got back, which is compared to the $740 extra dollars that you're going to pay at the pump because of the increase in gas prices. You also said the economy was so terrible under the Biden administration. More jobs were created. GDP growth was better. Donald Trump was elected.
Why did they lose?
What?
Why did they lose?
Because it wasn't good enough. And guess what? Now it's even worse. Donald Trump is over minus 30 on cost of living, minus 28 on taxes. And the difference between Kamala Harris talking about the gas prices and the collective burden we all bear to help out our friends is that Americans actually supported what we were doing vis-a-vis the Ukrainians. 71% after the Russian invasion said we should provide weapons. Even today, 69% view the war as important to U.S. interests. That's the Russia-Ukraine war, not the war in Iran right now, which has over 50% disapproval. The other important point to that,
over 50% disapproval, and not everybody is happy with this Iran war. The Americans say it's an unwanted war that Trump started to just hide Epstein files. A lot of political commentators, they claim Trump just started this war to hide the issue of Epstein files.
is that President Biden and Kamala Harris actually got congressional approval for the money that they sent to Ukraine. They didn't just say, I'm going to do what I want. They actually went and they asked people who are elected by us to go into office, what do you think about this? And it was approved. And they were part of a coalition of over 50 countries that sent aid and weapons to the Ukrainians. That's how it's supposed to work. There's a checks and balances. It doesn't matter how it's going.
Okay, good.
What do you mean? Actually, how it is going well?
Yes. Got bombed.
Well, first of all, there's a strong argument.
We've extended this war for 4 years.
I know you don't care about it. You should take a look, by the way, on what
paying for it.
This
Trump
is funny.
did that. Trump did that. Wait, I can't believe you're defending Biden and Harris.
I am.
Democrats don't want to hear from them evermore. So you want her to be the nominee in 2020?
No, but the twisting of what I was saying is crazy, Kellyanne. I did not say I want Kamala Harris to be the nominee. I said that the argument that you're making against the Biden-Harris administration falls flat when you look at what the Trump administration is doing.
I'm going to look at the fact that Trump got elected on running against the Biden-Harris economy.
And what do people think of him now? He has a 35% approval rating in most polls.
He's not a politician.
Donald Trump is historically unpopular, and what is so difficult and must be so difficult for him is in times of economic uncertainty, which Donald Trump really didn't have until COVID in his first term because he inherited such a great economy from Barack Obama. He also inherited an amazing economy from Joe Biden, managed to fuck up both, Maybe we shouldn't have elected him the second time. Maybe people shouldn't have been so afraid of a black woman being the president of the United States. Oh no, so terrible, Kamala. Oh, what are we going to do? But this is where we're at. So Donald Trump is seeing his approval rating implode, especially on the economy, especially with non-college educated white people that was the base. That was the bread and butter. We love Mr. Trump. But usually when Donald Trump was struggling in the polls, he'd go back to the basics of bigotry, right? He'd talk about the caravans and they're eating the dogs and everything's falling apart, but he can't do that. He can't do that because ICE and Donald Trump's disgusting and illegal immigration agenda is just as unpopular as everything else is. So what is he going to talk about when even Joe Rogan is saying stuff like this?
ICE, you only have 7 weeks of training.
Yeah.
You think about, that's not even what you get in the police force. Yeah,
Dude,
it's crazy.
we had more than that for fucking T-ball when I was a kid.
Joe
Rogan, he's saying like this. He's a person who supported Trump, even still he supports. But now on this war issue that Trump started with Iran, every person who supported Trump during election campaign, I'm talking about Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Pam Bondi, they are not endorsing Trump on this war. That's why Trump is becoming so unpopular. And what do you think? What will happen in midterms? Trump already saying, the party of the government who is running the government always loses the midterms. But everybody is now tired of Trump.
you endorsed the mass deportations guy. How did you think mass deportations were going to happen?
And we are talking right now about the ICE and what ICE just did to the women. Do you remember that viral video? That was brutal.
Donald Trump talks about shooting people in the streets. His movement is inherently violent. You didn't think that maybe these goons weren't going to be trained and sicked on Americans across the country? They have gone after everyone. They have killed 2 people in the street. They have killed countless people in cages.
That's the point I just want to tell you. I'm a student of US politics and I'm from Asia. In Asia, and the Asian mindset is like US is a country, it's a superpower country, and it's a country of due process. It's a country of accountability. What the eyes of President Trump is just doing, that's against this mindset. That's against the democracy. That's against the a country of due process. It's a country of paperwork. It's a country of due process, accountability. And what we have just seen in the past month from ICE is totally different. I just don't want to turn against the ICE and turn against the Trump. But as being a neutral person, I just want to say to you this, like what the Asian people and what the other countries in the world, they used to think about USA. But now everything is totally changed. What Trump is just doing is totally different. He is completely different from President Biden. President Biden era, I remember the time, I'm making videos since 3 or 4 years now on US politics. By the way, I'm a student of US politics and you're the teacher. You have to teach me the correct politics of USA. I remember the Biden era was totally different from President Trump era.
Joe. So yeah, this is your fault. And it's not funny, oh, we did more training in T-ball. Yeah, you fucking idiot. You should have known better, and you didn't. But at least they're saying something. And this break, I think, is maybe even more important than the Megyn Kelly and the Tucker Carlson and the Candace Owens, Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn being like, this shit sucks. I don't want to be a part of it. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. Right? They should be blamed, but they don't want to be. Well, do you know where the blame is fallen? With Stephen Miller, and with the top ICE executive, the top ICE official, who just said, I've had enough. Top ICE goon quits admin after scandal-plagued year. The acting ICE head is quitting after he was hospitalized at least twice for stress-related issues. Donald Trump's acting
stress-related issues.
Jumping ship
That's
after
insane.
Just over a year in the role. Todd Lyons said he will be leaving the federal government in June to spend more time with his family, Shore, in Massachusetts, CBS reported on Thursday night. reached for comment. Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen told the Daily Beast in a statement, Director Lyons has been a great leader of ICE and a key player in helping the Trump administration remove murderers, pedos. Really, pedos? Are we being serious? That is your entire administration. Terrorists, that's also the Trump administration, and gang members from American communities. He jump-started an agency that had not been allowed to do its job for 4 years. Thanks to his leadership, American communities are safer. Mullen clarified that Lyons' last day at ICE will be May 31st and wished him luck on his next opportunity in the private sector. They said, get the hell out of government. It is unclear who will be filling the opening to lead the department, which has seen over a dozen acting directors in the last 9 years. Lyons, 52, was appointed to the position in March 2025 and oversaw the agency's failed deportation crackdowns in Minnesota that resulted in the fatal shooting, the killing of 2 American citizens, among numerous other mishaps throughout the second Trump administration. The nearly 20-year ICE veteran was hospitalized. The man was hospitalized twice due to stress-related issues from Stephen Miller during his short tenure as the agency's head honcho. Administration officials told Politico that the strain of the job and the pressure issued by the White House and its deportation crackdown architect Stephen Miller caused him to struggle to make key decisions. 1 current and 2 former DHS officials also told the outlet that Lyons often takes a long time to make decisions, forcing his deputies to do more work, and that the pressure he faced caused him to break out into a full sweat with his face turning red. During morning phone calls with the administration officials, Miller, 40, would yell at Lyons, according to 4 people on those calls. So Stephen Miller is melting down. He is screaming. He is reportedly worried about going to prison because although Donald Trump promised everyone in his administration pardons, if we know one thing about Donald Trump, he's not a guy who lives up to his word. So if I was Pam Bondi, or if I was Stephen Miller, hell, if I was Pete Hegseth and I was committing war crimes left and right, I would really be worried about cashing that check early. And clearly Stephen Miller is. The stresses of the job are getting to him. He's lashing out. He's calling people and screaming at them all the time because Stephen Miller is worried. And may I say, and I'm going to take a moment for a second to just reflect upon it. Yeah, it's enough time. If Stephen Miller's worried, fucking let's crank that up to 11. Let's get Stephen Miller really worried about going to prison. Let's start designing prison cells for Stephen Miller. Let's really get him, like Director Lyons, former Director Lyons, who is now resigned. Let's get Stephen Miller in that sweat with that red face, with that disgusting little vein he's got popping out of his ghoulish forehead. Let's get him sweating. Let's talk about accountability. Let's talk about breaking down the systems that he has put in place, abolishing ICE, because it is not enough to do a couple corrections around the edges, and that's what people are desperate for. Real accountability in this country is what we need. Real accountability for people like.
Yeah, I just want to say, as Jack Cocciarella is saying, US, we need accountability. And I might agree to his point. US is a country of due process. It's a country of accountability. The Asian countries, I can say you like, why US is a superpower country? Because it's a country of due process. It's a country of accountability, where justice is served immediately. And why Asian countries are very down, very in a very bad situation, because they don't have accountability. And that's why everybody, and the Asian people also think US is a country of due process. But now I'm making videos on US politics since 3 or 4 years now. I have not seen any type of accountability till now. On a higher level, I'm talking about the top administration. So that's a completely different USA that we used to think on media, that we used to think from people, that we used to think on social media. So it's a completely different USA that I'm seeing right now. I'm a student of US politics. You're the teacher. You have to teach me the correct politics of USA. Please excuse my accent as well. I'm not a native speaker. I'm just trying to learn American accent as soon as possible. Please consider subscribing. It's very important. Be an initial subscriber of my channel. I'll bring more important videos for you. Till then, please take care of yourself. Please take care of your health as well. It's very important. It's important more than everything.